So basically, a lot of people have asked me, hey, Josh, you gonna buy DX DonOnitaijin? No, that was not my original plan. I cannot make the final combination, the Toradoragonjin Kiwami or whatever, that combines both main mechas with this Phoenix, because I don't have Toradoragonjin. I should probably get it at some point, and if I ever do, I'll do that combination in that video, if that even ever happens, but I don't really want that toy, to be perfectly honest with you. Hey, it's Josh. So, you see, the funny thing about peer pressure and buying tokusatsu toys is that, well, it works. So to Vaughn, 5, Chris, Matt, I mean, they already know this, but yeah, so I did buy it. I did buy Toradoragonjin. I actually bought it back in December. It's just been sitting in the dorm for the last couple of months, but I'm moving out in like 2 weeks at the time of using this video, and I never got to use this green screen. And let's take a look at this thing. So already on this channel before, we've taken a look at DonOnitaijin. We've also taken a look at Omikoshi Phoenix, which means I had 2/3 of the components to have the like Ultra Zord or the final combination of Donbrothers. So getting Toradoragonjin was, I understood that it was an inevitability. That was so much louder than I meant for it to be. So of course this box has the gorgeous box art that DonOnitaijin had, and even DonOnitaijin Murasame continue to have. They really went above and beyond with the packaging art for this line. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, he's not sitting in a throne like DonOnitaijin is, but it still just looks very, very nice. For the rest of the sides, since this box is just astronomically big, I'm just going to have pictures up on screen as I talk about them, but the one side shows the combination with DonOnitaijin. The other side shows the individual components used by Donbrothers and Torabolt. The top once again shows the combination with DonOnitaijin. On the bottom it just shows Toradoragonjin itself. And on the back it just kind of shows all the stuff from the sides, but it also shows sort of the feature with the head. It's here, I have it, and we can combine everything now, which was the only reason why I bought this, because honestly, I'm not that big of a fan of this design. I'll get into it with this toy, but let's go ahead and take a look at the individual components that it comes with. So right out of the box, you get a bunch of different pieces here, ranging from pretty much the entirety of Don Robobolt, sort of just as one big piece here. You're going to have to do a little bit of assembly with him, but we also have chest pieces, leg pieces, claw pieces, sword pieces, helmet pieces, the little black symbol pieces, whatever those are supposed to be for the shoulder pad. And by the end, you're going to have some sort of parts looking like this. So the transformation for Don Robobolt is going to take this giant claw piece here, and you're going to take this black piece, the parts that have the pink symbols on there, close that up, and where this is going to clip in is, I believe it was right underneath there. It's just going to clip in like that. We'll put that off to the side for a second, because we're going to bring in kind of the main big body of him, and then we're going to fold this up, fold these. And this guy looks a lot more of a darker purple on camera than he is in real life. He's definitely a lot more of a lighter purple. We're just going to kind of fold these claws out. You can also spread this, so you have a little bit of some dynamicness there. There is a little bit of some hinges and stuff there, so you can get him into a little bit of different poses and everything. So there is that, and you can open his mouth as well. You can kind of have him sort of move his head up and down. But that's pretty much all you're going to get out of Don Robobolt, and then you're going to take this piece right here, and where it's going to just clip in right there, and there is the completed Don Robobolt. So now let's make Don Robogoku. So for Robogoku, you're going to just make sure you have this entire chest piece with both of the silver pieces intact like this, and you're going to make sure that they are pegged like kind of with the peg facing down in relation to the head. The head's going to be extended out a little bit, and the only thing you're really going to do is take this piece and rotate it that way, so that way that those pegs are exposed, and then we have some combining to do with all this stuff. So with the pieces that become the legs, you're going to just be doing a little bit of kind of moving around here, so we'll put this one to the side for a second, because this one you're going to want to make sure that you get this out of the way so you can fold this peg out like that, and then we'll put that back in there for a second. You're going to take both of these and grab them and clip them together onto the sides like that. So you have something like this, basically, and you're going to take these two pegs and kind of extend them out. And this is where you're going to connect them up here to these ports, like this. I thought I would get them both in one go, I did not. So for these legs, you're going to extend them out like this, and then rotate them like this, so it's backwards like that, and then rotate this, fold that back so that way he has some back legs, and then you're going to grab these pieces, which these are going to fold like that, and then I believe, yep, rotate like that. So you want to have it rotated out like that, and there's these clips on this red part, and those are going to clip in right here to the gray piece that is already on him. And then he's almost there. We're going to take this one, fold it up like that again, rotate it around, so that way we can clip it into the other side like that. I almost had it backwards. And then we're going to grab this, and that's going to go into this clip right there. And so now he has all of his limbs, and you can kind of get him into a sort of a balancing pose here somewhere with Don Robogoku. So we'll kind of try to finagle him around here. So this piece is going to clip in right here. Then for the helmet storage, you're going to make sure that you clip these legs back in if they're not already clipped back in together. That will free up this little divot right there. And we'll kind of have to move some of these hinges a little bit. But you're supposed to be able to take the helmet and have it kind of rest on this strange shape that's back there. You're supposed to kind of be able to latch into it somehow. And then just with some minor adjustments and everything, you have Don Robogoku and you have Don Robobolt. And these are definitely mecha. That's what they are. So of course, now that we have them in their individual Robotaro forms, it's time to combine them into the namesake of this video, DX Toradoragonjin. So to do that, it's not too complicated. So we'll go ahead and start with Robobolt. So we'll just take this entire piece off. And what you're going to do for this guy here is you're going to move these like that, and you're going to fold down every one of the little paws. So then you extend like that, and then just fold that down, fold that down, fold that down, and then you're going to grab this entire thing and fold it down like that. So that is going to be prepping him. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to detach that claw from this piece like that. So take those, put those off to the side. Then over here, this is obviously the bulk of it. So we're going to take this piece off. We're going to take the tail out like that. And then this guy here, basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, basically you gotta sort of straighten it out, but it's a little difficult. So we will go ahead and start with this process. So kind of put these back to how they were, like that. And then we are going to separate them for a minute. Obviously it's going to make this piece try to disconnect, but we'll deal with that in a second. Because we're going to come over to this thing. And this is going to, actually you're just going to take this entire piece off. So take these entire pieces off, like that. And then you're going to pretty much just kind of have this guy how he is right now. You're going to do a little bit of adjustments to it, but you're going to come back here first. And the pieces that were inside of the arms there, you're going to disconnect those, because we're going to need both of those. If I can disconnect it. There's that one. So these pieces are going to clip in like this. So where they kind of, the rounder part is on the outside and this piece is folding down. So then we're going to grab this piece, take that, and attach it right there, like that. And then what we'll do is we'll come back over here. We'll go ahead and take the helmet out, actually, because it might. And then we're going to come over here, and we're going to clip this piece in right there, like that. And we're going to clip this piece in right there, like that. There's little notches right there, and that is just going to attach in there. We're not going to need that yet. We're obviously not going to need that until we combine it with the DonOnitaijin. Don Robobolt is going to be kind of sort of trapped in here, like this is a cage from Robogoku, but it's reasonably difficult to get it to work exactly how they want you to. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of raise this tiger, or that's a tiger, that's the dragon head up a little bit, and kind of try to get out of the way. Make sure these are folded outward, and then he's supposed to. It really is just tricky to get the legs to line up. That's the thing. That one worked. There we go. So you're supposed to fold those in, and then those are going to collapse back in on him. And then look at the head there, because we're going to try to clip this in. And there we go. By clipping him in, it will fold that up. And then we're going to fold that over the chest. That actually worked pretty well, all things considered. So then now we're going to take these pieces, and you're going to rotate it actually this way, so that way you have a hand there and you have a little bit of a joint there. There's these clips right there, and they are going to clip in to Robobolt's arm. Just gonna have to line it up like that. And then finally, or almost finally, you're gonna open these guys up. And you're gonna have this one. This is the pink one. And that one is going to clip in right, almost had it upside down. That one is gonna click in right here. Maybe, if it wants to find the clip. And try to clip it in. Perfect, perfect. And then we're going to grab the claw, and the claw is going to go, and I'll make sure you have it on the right arm. You can actually put the claw on either arm and the sword on either arm, but the official way is to have the claw on the left, and then you do have a little bit of arm articulation there at the elbow, and then the sword on the right. And then finally, we're going to bring this down over the face a little bit, and then we'll zoom in on it. We'll get a nice good look here. So we're going to zoom in, and right there we're going to move it, and there's the face. There is Toradoragonjin's face. There he is as I zoom all the way out so you can see the whole thing. And yeah, I mean, it's a robot, so he has a little bit of articulation like I showed. You can move the arms pretty much. They kind of get in the way a little bit. You can bend the elbows, you can rotate the fists kind of, but the claws get in the way. You don't have any, you have kind of like a knee articulation there. You kind of have a bend, but you're going to get Robogoat? I knew I was going to say it at some point. Robobolt, you're going to get kind of all over the place there. But I like this to a point. Like, I think the purple and the gold do work. And the more that I kind of play around with this guy, I do sort of like this combination. Alright, so to make Toradora Onitaijin, of course we have to bring in DonOnitaijin, and we just have to take a couple of pieces off. Alright, and then for Toradoragonjin, so if you remember back at the beginning or at a different point in this video when we had him in just a bunch of pieces on this table, you gotta separate him into all of those pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Alright, so once you've done that, you should have something like this, so just a bunch of Toradoragonjin pieces and DonOnitaijin pieces. So for the only thing that is below the waist, we just have what's going to be the new slippers, the typical, you know, Sentai, there's always some kind of slippers somewhere. So that is going to be Toradoragonjin's arms, which are going to be the slippers like this. And you're going to take the two swords from DonOnitaijin, and they are going to clip in right there, like that for that one. And we'll try to find a spot for it on the table. And then the same thing for this one, right there. And then we're going to grab DonOnitaijin, and there is these pegs on the feet. They're going to line up right there pretty easily. And then this one is also going to line up right there. So to start with the arm, we're going to start with these pieces that are on the arms of Toradoragonjin, and we're just going to close them up like that. And then the one that is the pink one, we're going to keep that one for a second pretty handy here, because we're going to need that for his right arm, which we're going to make first. So for that, we're going to take what was this again? Robobolt, I think is what it is. And we're just going to kind of make sure he's all sort of straightened out there, like that. I think we fold in the head. Yes, we do. I'm looking at the instructions over to the side. And then we're going to grab this piece of Kiji, extend the wing out, and we're not actually going to do that yet because I forgot that we have to clip this in onto the top like that, and then grab the one piece of Kiji that actually has the face and fold it out, which I should have done before. So then fold that out like that, and then kind of adjust to the head accordingly. And that is going to clip in, and then there's a receiving clip and a clip hole. So peg that in there, and peg that in there. Are these clips that are going to go right here and there. And then I believe that is it for our right arm. So there it is right there. There's a port just like there was on Saru Brother, and that is going to clip in right there. There we go. So that's a little tight one. I had it rotated the wrong direction. So make sure that it's rotated the correct direction, or you're not going to be able to get that easily. And that was definitely still a pain. So I'd be a little careful with that joint. So next up for the left arm, we're going to take these two pieces that were the legs, And we're going to kind of get these out of the way for a second because we're going to have to fold this out like that. And then fold that back in. And then clip these two pieces together. Or kind of just slot through this peg right there. So you have that dangling like so. And then I'm trying to remember how this works. And then we're going to take this entire section and it's going to fold in like that to get the full look of the arm. Or I guess this would be the full look of the arm because it's going to go on that way. And then right there on this peg, that's where I believe this direction. Yep, there we go. That way. That way you have the same kind of peg system as we had on the other arm. For the other piece of Kiji, which I once again did not fold out ahead of time. So we'll just adjust that. And then the wing is going, is it this way? Yes. So basically we just bring Saru Brother together like you would if he was just kind of going back to his normal regular mode. So we'll kind of move the face back to there. Roughly is how it's supposed to be, like that. Roughly kind of just straighten everything out for the most part. I think you can kind of have these rotated however you want. The instructions are showing it where they're still as hands, I think. So something like that. So before we attach Saru Brother on here, which is going to peg in here, 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 and here, you're going to make sure that these are folded out. Because not only does that kind of complete the look there, but it's also going to make sure that we have enough room for... So this is a little tricky. So there are these pegs right there that are going to match up to those. So these are going to peg in like that. We're not really going to peg in. They're kind of just going to rest there. And then the actual pegging in is going to be right there. Basically like that. Maybe not perfect with the arms out, but like, you know, essentially like that. And then the final piece for this arm is that we're going to take the original helmet of DonOnitaijin. And that's just going to kind of rest in there like that. It does stay, but it's kind of just in there as friction. Alright, there we go. So attaching the arms on there are a little difficult, but you just have to just sort of carefully line it up. And then we will be good. Oh, it's a little top heavy there. So now we just have to finish the chest piece. Hold on, we don't want any comments about this. This is going to go back on to Saru Brother. So just where it was in his normal mecha mode, you're going to clip that back in there like so. So that's where that goes. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. And then finally, we're just going to collapse this piece down like that. And then the pieces that were kind of off to the side before or on the back are going to clip in right there. That one like that. And then this one like this. So that way you have these pegs out there. And then this is going to clip in right there. The other one fell on the floor. And then this entire thing, there's all these pegs there, are going to clip in kind of, hopefully, if it would like to. Clip in right there. And then honestly, I think the reason why that was a problem, yeah, this is fallen at some point. So you're supposed to have that extended like you do for regular DonOnitaijin. And then finally, which we will try to zoom in on to the best of my ability here. There's a lot happening. So there's a face. Here's a helmet. There it is. So take this. And, oh no, he fell again. And plop it. There we go. Line it up and then grab the whole thing and extend the torso again. And that is finally, after a little process, that is Toradora Onitaijin. Pretty cool. So it definitely looks better in a physical mecha form than it does in the show, where it's a CGI monstrosity. But here, I like it. Articulation-wise, you technically have some. These can move, but if you move them forward, you're going to pop these off. So, like, no. Technically, you can have head movement, though. The head is pretty unrestricted. And I don't know, I like it. We'll kind of pan down again as well, so you can see the feet. Feet are a little bare. There's not really any arm or anything going on there. It's very top-heavy, and that'll be the same thing when we do the final combination in a second, which is including Omikoshi Phoenix. But for the most part, I think this works. It's not like the worst super combination that we've ever had in Sentai. It still allows you to have some of DonOnitaijin's articulation. You just pretty much lose everything with the arms that you had in the initial combination. But let's go ahead and finish this all off here by bringing in Omikoshi Phoenix. And in my original video for him, I said, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to show off the combination because I don't really want Toradoragonjin, but I have it, obviously. So let's go ahead and combine it and make Toradoragonjin Onitaijin Kiwami. I think it's Toradora Onitaijin Kiwami. I think it's the name of that final form. So obviously it's not going to be super involved because Omikoshi Phoenix is not too terribly big, but what we're going to do is we're going to grab this entire back piece and take that off like that. And then we're going to split Omikoshi Phoenix in half like that. And And then you're going to want to make sure that you have handy with you somewhere, which I do, the Avataro gear that came with Omikoshi Phoenix, because that is a part of the combination. And then if you want to, you can leave the tab in and make it not have sounds if you're just displaying it, but it does have combination sounds. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Oh, and then also take that piece off too. Almost forgot about that. So the only prep that we really need for the right arm is to take the claw off, and then we're going to make sure that we take the chest off. So pop these pieces off, and then take the entire chest plate off. And then once you have the torso, you're going to kind of just adjust it so that way the dragon head is like, let me try to do this better. Dragon head is like a hand. It's going to be like a little fist piece kind of out like that, essentially. Pretty much. Is that how it's supposed to be? Yeah, it's supposed to be like a kind of an angle, sort of. Kind of try to straighten it out as best as you can. Look at that. Perfect in one try. I really didn't think that was going to work, so there we go. And then we're going to come around to the other part of the arm, or the other arm, and pretty simply, we're just going to take the blade off of the arm, like that. Just kind of slowly finagle it out. Once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and build the weapon. So I'm going to move this over somewhere, and we're going to take those swords that are on his feet and carefully attach them like that and like that. And now we're going to take them and we're going to build his weapon, which is also going to be sort of his stand or stabilizer. So we're going to clip these together as if you were putting Kiji back together. This is the stand, but it's also like, let's just connect every piece that we're not using. So this piece from Omikoshi Phoenix is going to be the base, but you're also going to connect this like that. Oh, wow, I'm clicking so many buttons. And then we're going to connect this piece like that, and try not to click any buttons. And then back here, which I might have already needed to fold it out. Where did it go? There's a piece that needs, yeah, here it is. I need to fold this piece out like that, because that, stop clicking the button. Like that is where the sword and the claw are going to go. So the sword is going to slot in onto the side like this. I'm going to try to get in there like that. And then the claw like this right here. So you have this giant thing. And now we'll finish the staff in a minute, because we're going to come around to here. Then we're going to take this piece, and you're going to want to pull this piece off of it and this piece off of it. And then this entire thing is going to go onto the back. So let's try to briefly show that easily. So there's these clips right here, and these clips in the middle is what you're kind of aiming for. So let's try to line that up there, and then clip it in just like that, and then set the whole thing back down. Okay, and before we start making a bunch of noises going off and stuff like that, we're going to go ahead and grab the helmets. So you grab the two pieces that were part of the helmet originally, and we're going to take this kind of the base plates of the helmet, and this is going to clip in. There are, I'm trying to remember exactly how this works. There's like these little pieces or something that this is going to slide into somehow. I think you kind of just have to make it sort of rest there with friction like that. And then you're going to grab the faceplate, and we're going to clip that back in a second. But there is this kind of, it looks almost like a big mustache or something, but that's going to clip in right here like that. And then we're going to go ahead and put this entire thing, well, actually, I guess it's easier to do it this way. Put this entire thing there, and then come in here and clip in the little mustache piece for his face, and then clip in his actual faceplate, which is the same from Toradora Onitaijin. And then we're going to come around here and fold up the wings like that. And then he's going to become our nice big new chest plate. We're going to bring this entire dude back up if he's already back up. Good, good, good. And now finally, we're going to zoom out, and we're going to take a nice little good look at him. The feet haven't changed besides the swords being removed. And now it's time to make noise playing in my dorm at 11 o'clock at night. So let's do it. So here is the bottom of the stem. And let me try to show off where this is going to go, right? So the pegs that's extending out right there on the right arm is going to clip in right here. So just keep that in mind. We're just going to, we're going to tab that in when it's time. So we'll connect the bottom piece, and then to finish it off, you're going to attach that gear right there. So here we go. And finally, And we did it! So that is Toradora Onitaijin Kiwami. Finally, the final mecha combination of Donbrothers. It uses every piece from the entirety of the mecha line, except for, of course, DonOnitaijin Murasame, but that's kind of its own thing anyway, so we wouldn't expect that to. And then I guess technically the alters, if you consider those mecha or whatever, but the main mechas can combine into this thing, which does actually have a physical suit in the show, which means this one actually looks pretty decent, although they do obviously use the CGI most of the time, but because of that, I like this form infinitely better. And finally with that, that is going to complete my Donbrothers mecha collection with Deluxe Toradoragonjin. So, if you have the other two, if you were like me and you have Onitaijin and you have Phoenix, you really do need this one to complete the combinations. Like, it's not that bad of a mecha, it's pretty nice. It's not as expensive. It can be expensive because it has a giant box and it is pretty tall compared to some other Sentai mecha, but I don't know, it kind of also depends. Like, if you really like Jiro as a character, you're probably going to want this because it is, a pretty big piece of his arsenal and all his stuff like that, so I can recommend it. As for the other mecha that I don't have, which is DonOnitaijin Murasame, I don't have that, and I definitely don't have the gold version, the all chrome gold version that they're making of DonOnitaijin. That thing looks amazing, but no, there's no way I'm paying for that. But that's it. That's it for Toku Twitter peer pressure this time for the Donbrothers toy line. My buddies, Vaughn, Five, Chris, Matt, they've been doing the whole you will fall to temptation thing for the Kinoja mecha. I'm not doing it. I don't have the space for this again. I don't have the money for this again. I did pre-order. I did buy the Kinoja mini pla, so I will get those. I will say that. I'll get those, but I am not getting the deluxe Kinoja mecha. I have no need for that. I don't even like them all that much compared to the Donbrothers ones, but that's going to do it. So let me know down in the comments below. Do you have this mecha? What do you think of its design? What do you think of the combinations? What did you think of the Donbrothers toy line of mecha in general? And are you collecting the Kinoja ones? I'd like to know. So of course, until next time, you guys can follow me on Twitter at LiveYourIntriki or LightningFakePR. Be sure to check out my Onitaijin and Phoenix reviews, which will be linked in the end card that you're about to see. And until next time, I will see you all later. To wrap up this video, I'd like to thank my $5 and above patrons: Jurassic Samurai, Maggot Alchemist, Robert Browning, Static Thunder, Brendan Overland, Maji Yellow, Redstone MCPC, Comix 1017, James Darty, John Luke, Eric Berry, Tyler Bezetsky, Matthew Thorne, Josh Landry, Pyramidas, CPT Tesla, Cross SCV, Caboose Ed, Socket Monsters, Anthony Love, Daniel Pika, and Hella Geo. You can support Toku Topics for as little as $1 a month on my Patreon, linked in the description below.